Your Honors, Dean Cesar L. Villanueva of the Ateneo de Manila Law School and Senior Founding Partner Villanueva, Gabionza, and the Santos Law Offices is now ready to be interviewed.
You may not be seated. Dean, do you have a manifestation? No?
Yes, Your Honors, if I be allowed. First,
You want to deliver a appointing statement?
yes, Your Honors.
As a rule, we allow limited only to 3 minutes,
Sure,
unless you ask for a motion for a consideration later.
I will try.
But do not
that.
expect that it will be granted.
Yes, Your Honors.
Okay, go ahead then, Dean.
I'm not the Dean of the Ateneo Law School. I'm not also no longer a partner of the law firm. I'm actually completing by the end of next month my first year as chairman of the Governance Commission for GOCCs, which has been created under Republic Act 10149 as the central advisory, monitoring, and oversight body with authority to formulate, implement, and coordinate policies pertaining to government-owned and controlled corporations. I was appointed to the Commission in August of 2011 and formally assumed my role as a public official with the effectivity of my resignation from the Dean of the Ateneo Law School, having then served 7 years coming from 4 years of being the Associate Dean. I have been teaching law for the past 29 years, which coincides with the number of years that I have been practicing law, concentrating in corporate and commercial law practice. My acceptance of the GCG chairmanship also saw the end of my service as chairman of the Commercial Law Department of the Philippine Judicial Academy and a member of its academic council, positions which I've held since 2003. And the privilege of such service has given me the opportunity to contribute to the training of judges in areas of commercial law development, such as corporate rehabilitation and insolvency, intercorporate disputes, anti-money laundering, banking laws and practices, intellectual property, but more importantly, in sharing my philosophical outlook on our country's commercial law system. I also represented PhilJA in the Supreme Court in the MCLE Governing Board, which is chaired by Justice Carol Grino Aquino, and have been involved in upgrading the rules and proceedings by which accredited providers may better serve the training needs of Filipino lawyers. I continue to be a member of the PhilJA Core Professors. I have served 3 terms as members of the Technical Panel for Legal Education of the CHED, under the chairmanship of Justice Bernardo Pardo, and after that, Justice Jose Vitug. I have been involved in the accreditation of newly opened law schools prior to the constitution of the Legal Education Board. I was also part of the committee that drafted the CHED memorandum that was formally adopted by the Legal Education Board, which has overhauled the standards of legal education in our country. During the incumbency of Chief Justice Renato Puno, I served as a member of the Supreme Court Subcommittee on Commercial Courts that submitted amendments to the interim rules of procedure for corporate rehabilitation. Until I resigned from the deanship, I was a member of the board of directors of the Philippine Association of Law Schools, PALS, serving also then as its vice president. I am a fellow of the Institute of Corporate Directors, a public foundation that seeks to promote and upgrade the corporate governance standards for both the private sector and within the government-owned and controlled corporation sector. I'm also a certified public accountant, having taken commerce or accountancy as my pre-law degree, even then with full intention that I will devote my legal career in commercial law development in our country. I've always been a keen student of Philippine commercial law, having published 5 books on related matters: Philippine Commercial Law Review, Philippine Corporate Law, Law on Sales, Non-Corporate Media of Doing Business, which covers the Philippine laws on agency, trust, partnership, and joint ventures, and recently the Law and Practice on Philippine Corporate Governance, which parenthetically won the 2009 National Book Board Award for Professional category. I have since my student days published various works on both constitutional and commercial law matters, and delivered papers on the Philippine commercial system and the Philippine insolvency system before international fora. Both my private and academic work have been primarily geared towards the rule of law regime, particularly in evolving a commercial law system that treats of the operation of common law statutes within a predominantly civil law system. Your Honors, I am the product of the public school system, having taken up my elementary education at the Santo Rosario Elementary School in Angeles City, obtained my high school education under the tutelage of Belgian priests in the Chevalier School, and I obtained my college degree from the Holy Angel University, magna cum laude, and eventually became a member of its Board of Trustees. I am essentially, Your Honors, a provinciano, having left Pampanga only the 21 years of age to take up my law studies at the Ateneo, where I graduated valedictorian and cum laude. I continue to go home from my work each day to Pampanga. I am married to my college classmate, Arlene Sicanco, who is now the president of the Holy Angel University, and we have 3 children. Our eldest and only son and my other daughter are both lawyers. I am a lolo, with my first grandson being born to our youngest daughter 2 years ago, and we are expecting our second grandson to be born to our older daughter sometime in November of this year. By way of ending, I share my personal philosophy of the law. For me, Your Honors, the law constitutes the very essence of man's civilization. It represents the mind, the heart, and the soul of every society. Leading members of society set out a set of precepts, rules, and regulations which they consider important for the members thereof to live and grow in a civil fashion. That is law as the mind of society. For the individual members of that society, the law assures them of the power to determine the course of their lives, to seek fulfillment and happiness for themselves and their families, consistent with those of the desires and dreams of their neighbors. That is law at the heart of society. And finally, the law provides for them the means by which society can protect and nurture somewhat its weakest and most marginalized members as its primary expression of the collective duty to a higher being. That would be law as the soul of society. In all these 3 aspects, the law therefore epitomizes the ideals, the virtues, and the actions of a civilized society. Thank you, Your Honors.
Attorney Cayusa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I propound my questions, I would just like to make it of record and disclose that Dean Cesar Villanueva must